So hello Flight Simmers, it's Two Shot Cowboy back here, and we are back at Kissimmee Gateway Airport in Florida. It's a lovely morning, as you can see out there. Chap just waiting there for me, so I won't be too long. And we are back in the Cessna 172, though today we're in the one that I originally intended to pick in the first place, which is the one with the more traditional instrument layout, just for a bit of change. Otherwise, all the G1000 aircraft all kind of tend to start to look the same after a while. So we're going to go ahead and start up the aircraft with the checklist today, and then we're going to fly out VFR from Kissimmee International Airport, Kissimmee Gateway Airport, and we're going to today fly up towards the north a little bit to have a look at Universal Studios, a Universal Resort here in Orlando, and then we'll fly back and land here at Kissimmee Gateway Airport. So that's our mission for today. Let's get this bird in the sky, and we can get going. So we'll do it by the checklist to demonstrate again how the checklists work here in Flight Simulator. So pre-flight inspection, documents. I have an iPad, so that contains my documents today. The park brake is set, the ignition is off, the avionics switches are off, the battery switch is off, fuel quantity indicators are good because we automatically get loaded with fuel here in Flight Simulator. If you want to have a look, they're just here and they indicate at the moment 15 US gallons, which is plenty for today's flight. We have avionics switches are on, avionics switch plus one is on. Let's tune that on. There we go. Avionics cooling fan. I can't hear it, but I've got a headset on. Avionics switch plus 1 and 2 back to off. Static alt pressure source. I'm not sure where that is. Where's that? Is that a test? It's a test, I think. I should have been popping a tick on all these things as we've gone through. Now, avionics switch plus 1 on. We've done that one. We've done that one. We've done that one. What's the next one? Annunciator panel test. Why won't it do the test? There we go. I think we probably should have the battery on in order to get a lot of these things to operate. Yeah, battery switch on. I missed that one. Battery on. So we just did the annunciator panel test again there. That's lovely. Tick item. Fuel selector is on both. Yes, it is. Tick that. Fuel shut-off valve is open. Tick that. Flaps are down. Pitot heat on. Pitot heat off. And battery switch off again. Elevator trim to neutral. Yes, it is. Tick item. So before starting engine, we've completed the pre-flight inspection. We have our seatbelts set. Electrical equipment off, avionics off, fuel selector both, and shut-off valve is open. Okay, so we're going to start the engine. So let's just make sure we're up at the top. Throttle open 1/4 inch. Propeller area is clear. Yes, it is. Mixture is idle. Propeller area clear. Battery switch to on. Beacon to on. Mixture rich. Aux fuel pump on 3 to 5 seconds, then off. Mixture to lean. Feet ready to brake. Ignition to start. So let's just get ourselves back up to a sensible spot. So we need to go mixture in a bit. A little bit of throttle. We've got the thin. Let it warm up a little bit. Okay, that's looking good. After starting engine, throttle adjust for 1000 RPM. So let's just do that right now. There we go. Just about on 1000. Oil pressure checked. Alternator on. Alternator indicator off. Ammeter check. Avionics on. Radios on. There's no control for that obviously, and transponder to standby. We don't need to worry about that right now. Flaps up. Heading indicator set. And just bring that round. So for takeoff we want to set that to our takeoff, but we don't have any of this information yet, so we're just going to move on to taxi. And before we get to taxi, now I'm going to go and tune the ATIS for this airport.
Kissimmee Airport information, Yankee 1100 Zulu. Wind calm. Visibility 10. Sky condition. Few clouds at 1,100 feet. Few clouds at 4,200 feet. Few clouds at 12,400 feet. Temperature 25. Dew point 10. Altimeter 29.9. Visual runway 24 in use. Landing and departing runway 24. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short.
Okay, so it's 29 and 92 for the altimeter, which is what we wanted. There's a few clouds at 1,000 feet, which again is going to be pretty much like yesterday. So we'll try and stay around the 1,000 feet mark if we can't get up any higher. And we're going to depart to the north, so we're going to request taxi now from ground for a departure to the
Kissimmee
north.
ground, Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra with Yankee request taxi for takeoff north departure.
Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra taxi to and hold short of runway 24 via taxiway Charlie. Contact tower on 124.45 when ready.
Taxiing hold short runway 24 via taxiway Charlie Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra.
So we're not going to taxi via the taxiway that they've suggested, because that's again on my plan that I have here for on the air aviation plan in ForeFlight. The taxiways don't match up at all to what they have suggested. So taxiway Charlie is somewhere on the entirely the other side of the airfield according to my aerodrome diagram here. So I'm going to taxi on Echo Golf Bravo and down to the holding point for runway 24. Now we've poked nose in here, so we're going to have to ask for a pushback from this nice chap here who's just hiding. Now I haven't done this before in Flight Sim, so I'm going to see if I can remember. I think it's Shift and P. Doesn't look like it is. Let's have a look on air traffic controls. Ground services, that might help us. Request pushback. There we go.
Kissimmee ground, Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra requesting pushback.
Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra pushback request accepted.
Okay, just make sure our parking brake is released. There it is. And we'll pop on our nav lights, and I'm going to pop the pitot heat on as well. And our man's going to push us back. And I've set 240 here on the heading bug, ready for takeoff. So we've got the runway heading set, ready to go. I have no idea what our pushback guy is doing. He is pushing us back. There we go. So we're being pushed back. Thank you very much. Can have a little look at that in the outside there. And I just pop my flaps down for takeoff. Takeoff with flaps 1 today. Let's request pushback stop there because I don't
Kissimmee
no
ground,
idea
Cessna
why he's
Alpha Sierra
going
X-ray
so far
Golf
back.
Sierra requesting the end of pushback.
Cessna Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra request to end pushback received.
And off he goes, and that's basically our we've got taxi clearance, taxi to hold short of runway 24, so let's go. We'll tune to Kissimmee Tower once we get there. Now there's an exit to a taxiway here from this parking area, and hopefully this is going to just check our brakes here. That's good, brakes look good. And we're going to follow this to cross runway 24, and then we're going to taxi round via Golf Bravo to hold short of runway 24. Now this doesn't seem to be modelled in, I wonder whether we can actually just take off from here. Actually we might be fine from this intersection on this runway. I'm going to just see if I can do that right now, see if it will allow me to do that, whether it requires me to go. No, I can get away
Kissimmee
here,
Tower,
so we'll
Cessna
go
Alpha
from here
Sierra
if we
X-ray
can, seeing
Golf
as we're
Sierra
ready.
ready for north departure at runway 24.
There's plenty of runway,
Cessna
it's
Alpha
5,000
Sierra
feet.
X-ray Golf Sierra cleared for takeoff runway 24 north departure approved.
So we're clear for takeoff. We're just going to do our after starting engine. So we're on our taxi check, so our taxi light we will pop on. Should have popped it on a bit earlier. Forgot that. Landing light as required. Well, we're not on the runway yet, but we have been cleared
Cessna
to
X-ray
land.
Golf Sierra,
So I'm going to
acknowledge
put
last transmission.
pop the strove and the landing light on.
Cleared for takeoff runway 24 Cessna X-ray
Navigation
Golf
lights
Sierra.
are on. Parking brake is released. Brakes test we've already done. Rudder test. For some reason you can't see the surfaces moving in the external camera, but I know the rudder is working. Turn coordinator we've already looked at on the turn. Heading indicator is working. Compass was working, and we're good. So now we'll do now a check run up test. So parking brake set. These are all good. Flight controls are incorrect. Flight instruments are set for takeoff. Fuel quantity indicators both indicating 15 US gallons. Mixture is rich. Fuel selector on both. Autopilot engage. We won't do that now because we can't see the information anyway. Autopilot off. Throttle set to 1800 RPM. So we'll just run up to 1800 here. And we'll just check the magnetos. So we'll just go to left. Off. Both. Right. Left. Both. And that looks good. Vacuum gauge check. Looks good. Oil pressure looks good. Temperature, ammeter, annunciator panel. And bring the throttle back to 1000 RPM. Tick item. So before takeoff checks then, radios are set, avionics are set, nav GPS switch is set, transponder, quite sure where the transponder control is on this aircraft. It's down here. Set transponder on Alt. There we go. It is on. Autopilot is off. Elevator trim set for takeoff. Flaps are set for 10 degrees. Parking brake release. And we are ready for a normal takeoff. So let's move forward. Which we're going to do now onto the runway. And we'll just go on the roll because we're all ready to go. Oh, veering a little bit there. These are not the best rudder pedals in the world that I have here, I have to say. And we're looking for about 55 knots indicated. There we go. And a nice clean lift off. Much better than my attempt the other day. And I'll just trim that up for a climb. There we go. Okay, so we're flying.
Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra, continue for north departure. I will contact you next when you leave my airspace.
So there we go, we're in the air. Let's just let our airspeed build a little bit. It's quite dark on the screen. I'm struggling a little bit to see my panel, so I'm just going to pop
Cessna
the...
X-Ray Golf Sierra, did you hear my last transmission?
Get a little bit of... trying to get a little bit of floodlight. There we go, it's helped a tiny bit. And air traffic controller waiting for me. Yep, I did hear you.
Kissimmee Tower Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra, continue for north departure.
And we're just hitting the clouds here at about 1,000 feet, so we're just going to just stay short of that. Just going to stay north of the clouds for a little bit so we can navigate. Okay, and we're going to do basically the same as we did the other day. We're going to fly out slightly towards the west, and then we're going to pick up hopefully I4, freeway I4, and follow that up towards Universal. Should be an easy way for us to find it that way. So as we get towards Disney World here, I'm just gonna go above this little bit of cloud, and hopefully I'll still be able to see the ground enough to navigate. If not, we can come back down again. Yeah, that maybe isn't the best idea. So I'm just going to pop back down. We're going to end up not being able to see anything if we go up there.
Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra, you are leaving my airspace. Frequency change approved.
And we will just have a little chat with ATC again.
Kissimmee Tower Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra, frequency change.
And we'll speak to Orlando.
Orlando approach Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra is type Cessna Skyhawk 4 miles northwest of Kissimmee. Request flight following.
Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Orlando approach. Squawk 0434.
And they want us to squawk 0434 and ident.
Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra radar contact 5 miles northwest of Kissimmee, 1,100 feet. Altimeter 29.91.
And we got a new altimeter setting there. Acknowledge the radar contact.
Copy Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
And as far as I know, this is I-4 here that we're just passing. So in theory we should be able to turn left here and just follow I-4. Oh yeah, there's Epcot directly in front of us. So as we saw the other day when we went to fly at Disney, we flew past Epcot. So Epcot is just on the left hand side here. So as we just make a turn to the north here and we follow I-4, which will give us a good visual reference, take us up towards Universal at the top of International Drive. Now we seem to be okay here at about 1200 feet. There's a little bit of cloud in front of us, but it's very scattered, so we'll stay here, should be alright. Let's have a look out to the left. There's the Swan and Dolphin and Epcot, and we're probably going to pass Disney Springs shortly on the left hand side. So I'm just going to pop the autopilot on, and that'll just hold us at 1,100 feet. There, and so that'll just make it a little bit easier for doing the photography out of the window. So there you can see the casting building, the Disney casting building, and you can also see downtown Disney there, Disney Springs. Now interesting, this must be very old map data because there are now big multi-storey car parks here at Disney Springs. So definitely this is data from a few years back that's being used to generate this scenery. And here's the hotels in Hotel Plaza Boulevard, and here is I-4, which we're following along to go to the north to have a look at Universal. So lovely morning for this flight. Yeah, all seems nice. Just flying through a few bits of loose broken cloud here. That's the radio brightness, the floodlight brightness, so we should be able to bring that up to see on the screen. Ah, there we go. So that's given us a little bit of light on our instruments there. Makes it a little bit easier. We're just flying into some IMC here. I'm going to just pop us down by 1,000 feet. Down to 1,000 feet, rather, I should say, rather than down by 1,000 feet. And then as we turn the corner here, we'll just turn the corner up to... Shame it doesn't have a sync for heading sync there for the heading mode. Let's pop ourselves into heading mode, and then we'll just turn the corner here with the aircraft on the autopilot, and the aircraft should level off for us at about 1,000 feet, which is nice. It's doing that. We're just going to continue flying over tall buildings here, so we're just going to... Oh, I've zoomed right out. That's no good. Just going to fly a little bit further. So this is one of the little annoying things at the moment about Flight Sim, is this when you adjust the controls and you move your pointer just off the control, then it makes your zoom suddenly activate for your view, so all of a sudden your view is zooming. So if we have a look down here to the left hand side, we can see I-4, and we're just passing over the convention centre, the Orange County Convention Centre, and then we'll shortly be also passing the Rosen Plaza Hotel there, and yeah, a hotel I know very well. And we're on over International Drive. Well, this is International Drive here, sneaking off. So we're going to be just tweaking our heading a little bit in a second, so that we go towards Universal Studios, which is pretty much in front of us, really. Now, as you can see, for the most part, the flying is fairly smooth, but when we get into these areas where there's lots of ground buildings and lots of detail, as those are loaded in, it does sort of slow down the frame rate a little bit, and then the frame rate seems to pick up again once those buildings are loaded in. So That's worth just knowing about, that's going to happen. So I think we're crossing I4. No, I4's just ahead of us here. Going to adjust the heading again to take us off a little bit to the right of I4 so that we can get a good view. I don't think we're quite up to so this is Universal's parking area here, I think. So in that case, Universal Studios, there it is. It's just there to our left. We are just flying past. So we've got Islands of Adventure here and Universal Studios here. And we'll go into manual flight mode in a second and try and get a little bit of a better look at those. So I'm just going to turn us round. Turn us round to 30 degrees. There we go. Staying at 1,000 feet here, even though there's no clouds now. 1,000 feet is a good height to be at for this sort of thing. Get a decent view. Trying to come back past on the other side of Universal here. Let's have a look what we can see now. So yeah, we're coming back past, and this is Universal Studios here. And then across there we see Universal Islands of Adventure. So we're just another turn now. 90 degrees round, and hopefully we'll be able to see that again. Pass a little bit closer this time, maybe to Islands of Adventure. If we level out in time. So we can look down there, we can see this is the back end of Islands of Adventure. That looks like Harry Potter there, Hogwarts Castle there, and the Harry Potter the Jurassic Park building, and all of Islands of Adventure. Doesn't look quite as detailed as the Disney stuff. And there's the car parks and Universal City Walk. Yeah, it doesn't look quite as... I've stayed in this hotel here as well, this tower, I recognise that. Yeah, so the detail of the Universal areas there doesn't look quite as detailed as the Disney ones did to me yesterday. I felt that they were a little bit more detailed, but still good, still interesting to see from the air. And I'm just going to do another loop round, and we'll have another fly past, and then we'll head back down towards Kissimmee Gateway Airport. Oh, a bit of a sun reflection there. So we're just going to come alongside Universal Studios again, and we'll have another look out of the window. There's that hotel we passed on the other side, and then as we look down here we'll see the parking garages for Universal City Walk and the theme parks, and we can see a little bit more detail here now for Universal Studios. So there is all of City Walk there, and here we pass over, there's the Hard Rock Hotel, and there is Universal Studios laid out beneath us. We can see very nice detail there, Universal Studios, including the Harry Potter area, which it looks like was under construction by the looks of it at the time that they used this information. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this little trip around to see Universal Studios today. We're going to fly back now down I4 towards Disney World again, and maybe look out for some other landmarks as we go, and then we'll return to land at Kissimmee Gateway Airport. just generally have a nice morning flight around the Orlando area here. So I can see I-4 there going off into the distance. So this has put us right on the right heading. We can just look again out of the left hand side. We can again get a view of Universal in the distance there. Beautiful weather this morning. There's Islands of Adventure again. And some more, that Harry Potter land again I think there. And Islands of Adventure and City Walk, the Hard Rock Cafe. Excellent. Again, quite old map data. I think there's quite a few hotels aren't built here that are now built. It looks like there is no Volcano Bay water park built either when this map data was taken. So it is definitely quite out of date map data, which we did get that impression from our flights over Disney. As the flights over Disney, we know that there should be garages there where I've lost my drift. There should be garages where there are currently just flat car parks on the information. So we definitely know that that the Disney area was definitely old data, so this has confirmed it now with the Universal area that they're using quite old map data to generate these maps. So it'll be interesting to see whether any of that gets updated in time, and how that affects in-flight simulator if the data for airports, for instance, being used is quite old. Does that mean, like as we found out already, the taxiways that are often being offered to us don't match up with the real world charts? So the taxiway letters that they're asking us to follow, like Lima Bravo Charlie, don't really match up with the real life taxiway letters on the charts. So that is an interesting and quite annoying thing, but maybe we're going to see more issues with that as things don't match up to the charts. So I'm going to go for a Kissimmee Gateway Airport again here. I can see Kissimmee Gateway Airport just there on my GPS, so I'm going to just carry on going forward towards that. I'm going to tune the tower now and ask for a landing.
Kissimmee Tower Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra is 8 miles north with Yankee to land.
Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra Kissimmee Tower. Fly left base runway 24. Altimeter 29.9 1 wind calm.
There we go, so we've got 24 again, which is
Fly
what
left
I
base
kind of
runway
expected
24
it to
Cessna
be
X-Ray Golf
because,
Sierra.
well, I kind of expected it to be 24 again because we took off from 24. So there we go. And interestingly, one of the things you can do if you get a little bit lost, we can see a flashing beacon there, so I know that's where the airport is. But I'm going to request the airport direction.
Kissimmee Tower Cessna Alpha Sierra X-Ray Golf Sierra is unfamiliar with the area. Request directions to the airport.
Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra Airport is 11 o'clock 6 miles.
So it's given us a heads up there that it's 11 o'clock.
Sierra cleared to land runway 24.
So I'm just going to pop my heading bug round so I'm facing that flashing light. And we've got the landing clearance.
Cleared to land runway 24 Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra.
Has it give us a fly left base runway 24? So we're going to do the same thing that we did the other day. We're going to fly to the airport, then we're going to fly a pattern around. It would have been nice to get a straight in landing here because I think we could have just come in directly, but we'll do the pattern because it's a more correct way of operating. So if you get stuck and you're not quite sure the way back to your airport, then you can use that feature to ask if they can give you a heading towards the airport if you can't see it. It would be nicer if they gave a compass heading, so the heading is to the west, 270 degrees, something like that. But it's still a good feature to have to be able to get them to tell you where the airport is. So I can see the airport now. I can see one of the runways, not the one we're going to land on, but I can see the other cross runway there in the distance, and I can obviously see the flashing beacon, which we know that the airport has. I'm just going to zoom my map down to a much tighter profile so I can get some more information as we get nearer over the airport. And again, I'm just going to overfly the runway here on the heading that I'm currently on, and I'm going to then fly left, turn onto a downwind leg, and then to land on runway 24. The runway 24 is just underneath us. We're going to pass directly over the top of it, basically. So yeah. And then we will taxi back to the area that we originally started from, regardless of taxi instructions that they give, because to be fair, the taxi instructions they give don't really fit. So we should be able to see runway 24 passing beneath us here. There it is. You can just see the threshold of 24 as it passes underneath us, and we're at 1,000 feet. So we are cleared to land. We are going to turn off the autopilot now, and I'm going to make a base left downwind turn. I'm also going to reduce my speed a little bit and my altitude. I'm going to add some flaps. And just going to fly. There's the two buildings here which I noticed yesterday are a nice little visual marker. So I'm just going to fly over the top of those. Should give me about 2.4 exactly. And we're just going to come down to 500 feet and get the rest of the flaps out. And now just have a little look back. There's the airport. I can see that it's there, which is quite important. I like to know that it's there. I'm going to just turn left base. Stay in at about 1,000 feet. And now finally I'm going to just turn on to finals. It's about 300 feet. Oh, maybe a little bit harsh turn there. And there's the runway, I can see it, so I can now line up visually. And we're coming in at about 300 feet. We're a little bit low on the PAPI, so we'll just hold our height there until we get established with the correct landing approach angle of attack. There we go. So we've got two reds, two whites on the PAPI, so we're on the correct approach now. Looking at about 70 knots. Coming in, finals, short finals, cleared to land. Just bleed off our speed there, hold the nose, hold it, hold it, hold it. A little bit nicer than yesterday's, and brakes full forward.
Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra turn next taxiway.
We are going to turn next taxiway, and we're going to turn actually onto this runway, because then we can work our way back round until
Cessna X-Ray Golf Sierra contact ground on 121.7.
I'll just get off the runway here before I contact ground, get past the hold short line, but we're going to be going straight forward anyway. Let's do that. We are stopped off the runway and ground handoff. There we go, thank you very much.
Going to 121.7
These are my landing
Cessna
lights.
X-ray Golf Sierra.
Into some ground. And we seem to have lost our ability to control the aircraft now. Lovely. Well, I don't know what has happened there. We've no control of anything. Interesting. So taxi to parkings.
Kissimmee ground, Cessna Alpha Sierra
And we'll
X-ray
just
Golf Sierra
move ourselves
taxi
over
to parking.
to parking. The throttle still works,
Cessna
so
Alpha Sierra X-ray Golf Sierra taxi to general aviation parking using taxiway.
it's just said use taxiway today. So that's fine because we're on the taxiway and we know where we want to go, which is
Taxi
exactly
to general aviation parking via taxiway Cessna X-ray Golf Sierra.
exactly back to where we came from. They go back and park in exactly the same spot. Oh, and it's with the stopping and starting is very frustrating. So yeah, they need to just have a look at the ground interaction, because as soon as it might be my toe brakes actually, but it's very frustrating as soon as you start to move, which you need so much power in order to get it moving, and then it immediately stops when you reduce the power, which is very unrealistic. I'm going to can't set the parking brakes. There we go. We can't interact with the aircraft at the moment, so I'm just going to stop there and say thank you very much for joining me. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back with another video for you soon. And this is Two Shot Cowboy, and we're out.